Hey guys, I'm Mr. Radio. Today, I doubt anybody would actually use this or care about this, but I'm very bored and I, once again, haven't had much fun making music. You would say. I thought this would be a decent idea to do for anybody out there that might see this and might want to learn how to make breaks for breakcore. Now, I wouldn't say I am the perfect example, since I myself am not that good at making breakcore, I feel, and I haven't really gotten to the point where I want to be at in the first place. But I feel like I do have some tips and advice people could use for themselves that could help them a lot. So, let's get started. First, let me show you how this break sounds like that I made. So, let me just quickly mute these two. Now, I'd say this is probably my most nicest break I've made. It's alright. So, this break, let me run it down for you real quick. I've gone on this little journey of breakcore, where I name all my breaks and songs kinqbreak number something something, in correspondence to the last number. And I'm around like 30 or something now, but I haven't made any breaks and saved them recently. So I'm still in 30 something, but I'll probably be like 40 something now if I export a bunch of breaks that I've made. But this break, I'll run it down real quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. And I guess if you count the kicks, but they're not really that useful. There's a couple stuff here and there. But it's 5 layers of just break chopping, interesting stuff. But if you see here, just from like this little portion of it, you could count a lot of different things. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not that much really, but it's more the amount that I use throughout the whole entire thing that helps provide some sort of variety throughout a break. Now, what I feel a good break is, it's not the same and repetitive throughout the whole entire thing, because I feel like anyone would rather listen to that instead of just like something simple like this. I mean, sure, everyone has their likings, but when it comes to breakcore, I feel like it's a lot better to make something like this rather than just some simple unedited amen here. So the reason I created kinqbreak was because I created this sort of style for myself that maybe people have seen before and created the same way, or people just made it a long time ago as well, the way I make my breaks, which is just making many layers. People do that, but I go very, very crazy with layers sometimes. This is a decently layered song, but I could find a song where there is a bunch of layers. Okay. This is a good song for a bunch of layers that I have. It's a very big song, not that big, but it's big in size. So there it is. Now you may be asking yourself, what is going on here? This is an overkill when it comes to kinqbreak, which is layering. This is just one break, I believe. Yeah, so I made all these layers of just one break. So it's a real mess to look at, but it all works hand in hand. But it's really just really loud breaks, which you can't really tell that much that it's nice and audible. But it's a total of I'd say 7, 8 layers. Give it a little listen. not much breaks where you see, I guess, an unchopped break. What I like to do with my breaks to make sure they're nice and chopped is that I don't leave the names of the breaks visible. As you can see, most of these breaks you could not see their names, but there's a couple here and there. But it's not like the whole entire thing is unchopped. It's a decent break, I'd say. I'll let you hear it. So yeah, I would consider this king break. I mean, any break I make is called king break because I made it. But I feel when I used to call it king break, I would do a certain style, which was very, very simplistic compared to this that I make now, which is very complicated and different throughout the whole break. Before, when I made king break, it would be so much more different. I'll give an example. This is, I'd say, a nice staple to the king break that I used to make. And okay, this is constant change. And you can see it doesn't look as special as my other songs. You see, it's like very compact, very, very rectangular, very squarish, and it doesn't look that crazy as my new projects do. But this is still a really good song, and the reason it's a great song is because even though I literally just said it a few minutes ago, oh, I don't like it when it's repetitive and stuff like that. But what I learned when I first started making breakcore is that repetitive is good sometimes, but if you somehow change it in some slightness each time you pass through some certain bar or second, you could create these sort of patterns that people will notice, and when they change, it's a great pattern you see. So in this song, there's 4 BPM changes, and let's say the BPM changes between each one are pretty smooth. I made this probably a while ago. Let's see, yeah, that's been a while. That is October? Yeah, October. So it's been a while since that song has been made. That is like 7 months. So I've improved a lot, let's say, but I still really enjoy this break that I made because it's something that I made in school, and honestly, for it being made in school, it's something that I'm proud of. You could give it a listen if you like to, but it's a good song. And what I was talking about earlier, how I was saying it is repetitive, but at the same time it isn't, is where the top break, when I used to make king breaks like these, or just breaks like these, I would make it so the top break would always remain the same. And we had some certain intervals, of course, would change. It should be the transitionings, when it would stutter and it would move on to a different BPM or a different section. So here you can see it's the same, but here it is not at all the same. So the reason that this is like this is because what I would do back then is I would choose certain little sections of each break. This kick, this snare, the hi-hats, I don't know, some bar that I liked, and I would just staple it and just stamp it everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. You can see there is some pattern sometimes, but it would be changed up, and you can just listen to it by itself, and it's very weird just by itself. But when smashed together, you could really much tell the difference. Okay, so I'll just let you hear this by yourself, this thing. And if you slowly add more layers, just more something to break, it really does sound a lot better than it should. And I really do miss this style because I sort of lost this style and how I make it, because I can't really go with the simplicity anymore, and I really enjoy making it really complicated, diverse, and just shit ton of stuff into breaks because I just like that like now. But this is still something I enjoyed, and it's something great. This is a good song, but this is basically an earlier version of the King Break. One of my earliest save files. Yeah, that was one of my earlier save files. And yeah, that's King Break before it got revolutionized into what I showed in the last project. And it's really easy to make it. Like I said, pick any amen you want. Let's actually make a new one here. Hopefully it doesn't sound shit. But we could try again. Perhaps I could try making this sort of amen stuff again. Let's see which one's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, very interesting break. Now make sure when you're always making breaks, I would suggest to always time stretch them, of course. If you want to keep them on grid, time stretch them to the BPM they have. You could just really guess the BPM by just, dragging down the BPM and seeing it line up. And once it lines up, I just stretch it out and stretch it back in. And now it's time stretched. And give it a listen. Master, nice. Okay. So let's give it a try. Giving the good old King Break a try, and I'll explain how to do everything. Once again, King Break is just keeping the top layer, and I would say many things in King Break, where I used to call these little layers right here, this one right here especially, I'd call these layers hamburger layers. And how I'd make this is that I would pick, of course, the normal break itself, and then I'll pick a section, maybe perhaps this big, or half the break. Oh, okay. And then I'll put in the second row, and then pick another section, cut it in half, and then it'll start making stuff like this. Even though this is sort of a hamburger layer, it's a different technique. So let's do this right here really quickly. Half a layer. You always want to make sure it doesn't line up with the break you have on top, because then it'll just sound really loud instead of the variety that you want. So yeah, half, and then you could pick another one, maybe like this. There we go. And you see now it's sort of just divided by 2. And then now you just gotta pick your favorite section, where I guess it's always something that you like. So if you like this, sounds nice. So just find anything you like, and then from the original break, find a section you like from the original break, and then just keep doing it like this. And then let's see. Yeah, that's cool. So that's a really simplistic way to make a quick and easy, nice and soundy break. And we'll try and make King Break with this, and I'll explain it. In reality, sorry for the hiccup. In reality, you just easily tell what parts are snares, what parts are kicks. I don't really know how to differentiate it correctly, but I just learned snare, a little pointy, kick looks a little liney. I don't know how to do it correctly, but I just know. Or even if it doesn't work, if this is something else that isn't a snare, I could check. Yeah, it sounds like a snare to me. I don't know. I'm not a drum guy. I never learned really any music stuff. I never did any music. I played the trumpet in 6th grade, but I wasn't that good at it either. And this is really the only thing I've done related to music, where it's something I'm actually like and devoted to. But I still haven't done research or anything. And really, this whole time while I've been making music, I've just been, I guess, learning by myself, self-teaching myself. I've never really watched much FL Studio tutorials, really. The only time I watched one was to learn how to do animations, and I was only like 30 seconds of video. I skipped. I was like, oh, that's how you do it, and then I just went ahead and started doing animations. Because at some point, when I started making music, I didn't know what animations were, and I didn't know how to do them. And then I would twist the knobs of each plugin real time, record it on Edison, and then I would just stick with that. a couple of my first songs were like that, and it was awful because I'd have to take multiple tries because sometimes I would just not be able to do it. But yeah, I learned automations, and they're making my life a lot easier. I learned a lot more things, and the rest has just been stuff I either learned from myself or learned from others. And it's always nice, just experimenting a lot and just asking for others' advice and feedback. So I just randomly made this, didn't even listen to it one bit. That's alright. Maybe I could put it on the Detroit Rush thingy. That's cool. Anyways, that's how you make simple kinqbreak. First early kinqbreak style, and then now we could go to a very, very recent song. I won't show that song because that one's not that good, but I will show this one. Where is it? Here it is. So, this is recent kinqbreak era. Now, if you notice a pattern with all these other kinqbreaks, is that I use playlist clips and not piano rolls. And you're like, gross. Any piano slicers out there will be like, no, yucky. You gotta learn how to make piano slicers. And that's how I've been doing recently. Now, this is where I'm gonna teach something now for sure. I don't know if I've even said anything helpful before, but now I'm gonna teach something. I realized recently, if you want to make something cool, I feel like incorporating both playlist and piano slicer breaks into one singular song is a really good idea. Because one, doing pitch changes, pannings, granulizing, all those stuffs in playlist is a lot more difficult than doing them in piano roll. And this way of production that I made is very not that time efficient, I guess, because I'm not really good at making quick songs, because I'm always doubting myself and I'm always saying, oh, this is not good, oh, let me try this again, and then I sometimes just get bored and give up. But if you're able to be dedicated to this sort of style, I feel like you can definitely make a song really quickly, because one, it's really just copying stuff from before. When it comes to piano slices, you just make a break within the piano roll, and then you just reuse that break throughout the whole entire song. As you can see, I don't use a straight up pattern. I just copy from the patterns before, and just slice it a bit, move it there, and just switch it around everywhere. And it does sound I guess, but it helps provide that variety that I've been looking for a very long time. Because now with pitch changes and pannings, I can do a lot more. And in this song, there's a lot of breaks for sure. Oh crap, I changed that by accident. But I'd say when it comes to breakcore, I feel like having multiple breaks at once is good. But of course, once you've mastered that shit and you only use one break, you can still make a pretty good song. Because for now, I feel like having multiple breaks creates that variety really quickly for you without trying that hard. So let me see a section that I enjoyed in the song. Let me make sure the audio's off, so you don't really know who that break. Perhaps this section. Yeah. One thing for kicks, I don't really know how to explain that. I just recently started to finally use kicks in my songs. The kicks are alright. They're good. They're nice. I don't really know how to use kicks that well, but I just push them in there into my songs. And it works. It works. This song took me a while, but honestly, sometimes when I would get in the groove, I'd make a lot quickly. And when it comes to making breaks, you just learn from experience. The more you make, the better you get at it. And to me, I feel like it's honestly just do it. You can't really learn it instantly, but you can go the right way, and sometimes you can go the bad way when it comes to starting off. I feel like um, using this thing would be the wrong way to go. Now the only reason I have it on the only reason I have gross beat here, trust me, is only for the sample. You see, this is for the sample. Trust me, please don't kill me. It is not for the break. I will not use gross beat for breaks because honestly, it just seems the wrong way to go when you want to learn how to make breakcore. Because you depend too much on it, and people can very easily tell that you're using gross beat because people just learn the patterns. It's very simple just to hear it. Same thing with the preset patterns that you could get when you go to this little menu thingy here, drop, complex. Everyone knows these patterns. It's really easy. It's all the same. The 3 patterns. It's super easy to just tell by it, just by listening to the song. And people listen to it and like, oh, this person's lazy, whatever. But people like that, so it's everyone's choice, everyone's liking. But I just feel like that's the wrong way to go if you want to learn how to make breakcore, especially if you want to learn how to make your own style, something that differentiates you from everyone else. I feel like going with the crowd using gross beat isn't the way to go, especially with all the new breakcore dudes. Most of them use gross beat. I wouldn't be surprised, and that's just nope. And so I'll explain this a bit more when it comes to piano rolling and the new break tactic I made for myself. Basically, I just make a break in Piano Slicer. I just stab it in there and put a couple breaks over it, and I use this break. Wait, where is it? I use this break, and that break I already know how it looks like in the playlist. So, I use mostly amens. So, I just know if it's at the bottom, it's a kick. If it's at the second note, it's like, I don't know, a hi-hat, I don't know. And the third note is a snare. So I noticed that, and I use my snares when it's in the third. I use my hi-hats when it's in the second, and I use my kicks in the first. But of course, I could change it around. But sometimes you could get some cool effects, which I could show right now. And that song is gone because I've been opening too many files. So let me quickly open it up. Let me show you what I mean by doing this thing where you use the snare in the playlist, and you also use the snare in the piano roll. This is a new song I made. Okay, so let me show you. This is you notice that this is a snare. So you get that. I don't even know how to explain it, but this is mostly because of the pannings done here. And that's why I feel like if you are too lazy like me sometimes, and you don't want to make automations for your pannings, or you don't want to make a separate unique sample and pan it somewhere, or at the same time you don't want to make any fine pitch change automations, or also make a unique sample and pitch change it and then use it. It takes time, but if you're lazy, learn Piano Slicer. Honestly, I learned it super quickly. It's not that hard. You could obviously steal off other people. I don't know. Just look at their files. Obviously, this all is on Fruit Loops. I don't work with any other DAWs, but I'm just speaking for FL breakcore stuff. You could just look at other people's files. People do like sharing their files sometimes. Their zip packages. There's a lot of people on there who just post it in links and MediaFire and I don't know, Mega stuff. And you can just download it. Look at their FLPs. If they do Piano Slicer breaks, just look at it. Try to replicate it. You'll learn. You could also, I guess, steal plugins and presets that they use if you don't know how to actually mix properly. I don't know how to mix properly either, but I just smack a wave shaper, sometimes an EQ, an OTT maybe, onto a break or kicks or something else, and it makes it sound a lot nicer. Before I didn't do that. Before I used to have reverb and filters to it, which is kind of weird, but it worked. And this, oh god, that happens. Let me just move it to the middle. See that part right there? You notice that. I mean, it's super easy to change pitches and pans here. And that part, I did a couple pitch changes, and I coursed it. I did a right, left, right thing here for the pannings. Goes, and of course this isn't panned. Where's the snares? The snares isn't panned, so that makes it so I don't know how to explain it that well, but if the snares aren't panned, then it just stays, you know, in both ears, and it gives that sort of weird effect. I mean, you can't really hear it with the song. This is this is My Life Is Like a Video Game song. Actually, I could play a section of the song because it is a really good song and I like it. When it comes to sampling other songs, it's your choice on how you want to sample it, really. Either you could change the BPM to be over the song's BPM, but I'll always suggest first time stretch the song's BPM to how it is, so it stays on grid. You can see this is like close to being on grid, but this allows me to easily put breaks where I want them without having to, let's say, go on to none and slowly move it. I mean, this difference isn't that hard. Let's say if the thing was like in the middle here, that would be an awkward position to put your break in, and that would be pretty hard to work the whole entire time like that. And if your break doesn't line up that well with the whole entire song, then it might be a struggle. Same thing with breaks. If you don't time stretch them, it's gonna be hard making a break. So yeah, time stretch a sample. I don't know, make the BPM lower than the sample if you want to, or higher. Make it like a good 50 or 60 BPM higher than the song is. But of course, if it's like a 100 BPM song, I of course raise it to like 200 or 190. But be careful because it does speed up the song, and if you make it too high, then it'll sound too high pitched. So it's really just preference. If you want to make something like Corey, I don't know, go down to like 220 to 10. But if you want to make like, I don't know, mashcore stuff like that, you can just go really high up to like 260 or 250. I don't know, it all depends on what song you're sampling because all BPMs are different. But just go for whatever you want. This song isn't that high pitched outside. When it comes to vocal chopping with your samples, just go with however you want it to go. But I always like to line up my vocals with my breaks or kicks. Here, this is a little different here. It's like some weird snare I have. Just gonna hear it very lightly. It sounds nice. You guys wanna, if you line it up, especially when there's a lot of spacing and choppy stuff, it's nice lining them up because it'll go with the whole song. But if you make it like messy like this is not that good. Sounds weird. But yeah. And the song is alright. It's for an album. It's alright. It took me a bit to make. It was cool, I guess. I liked it. And for the next song, this is another example with kinqbreak sampling. If you're really lazy to find samples, this is an FLP I could show you. Just steal from the FLP. Just steal from the Fruity Loops samples they have, because this is literally a sample you could find in the packs here that they give you. Just a snare that I found and I just smacked. Oh, so that's not a snare. I mean that is a snare. Just it's not the snare that Fruity Loops gave me. You see, that's a snare. That sounds nice. This is a good section of the song. Why does it sound like that? It's actually wild. I don't even know what happened there. It's actually kind of weird. It's actually interesting. that's happened to me before, but that's weird how it just sounds like that. Sounds like it has like a vocoder on it or something. But anyways, this is like a really really lazy song. You can tell this is a lazy song because here it's nice and dandy. It all looks different, but then here it's just I literally copy pasted from the breaks I already made and just smacked it here because I was really really tired of this song and I just wanted to finish it already. This is exactly what I did. But the breaks in the song aren't that bad. A little aiming at it, I got fucked up. Actually, it doesn't sound that bad. Anyways, let's move on to another one. No, this one. Definitely not that one. Oh, wait, that's kinqbreak as well. This is something different. I'll show you. This is actually on break, it's alright. I give you a little listen. And then for the final FLP, I'll do a nice piano slicer breakcore song I made. Now this is kinqbreak, peak randomness everywhere, jumbled everywhere. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess 10 track break. Let me explain it. This isn't that much differentiating between everything. Actually, these aren't all the samples because I think I had other songs that I made in this FLP, but I just took them all out because I just wanted this song. I made like 3 different songs in this FLP, but I deleted the rest. But of course, I still have them saved somewhere else. This is the sample I used. It's not the original sample because I have some stuff going through the master, which is this crusher. And now it'll sound different. Okay, yep. So I'll give you a little listen. I don't know what to consider this. I don't know if it's a breakcore or not, but my intention originally was trying to make a jungle song. By the pads as well, you could probably tell it's sort of like a jungle song. I don't know. I've never made jungle before. Okay, so let me chop down what I have to do with these breaks. Very, very interesting. Now, one thing you can notice throughout the song, there's a lot of stuttery, but you can still hear the original break. That's what makes it nice to me. There's tons of stuttery to this break. You can see almost everywhere I did some sort of stutter, especially here. It's like the nicest part to me. That's great. You could do for this, I always like to do some sort of volume change or panning change when it comes to transitions. You could just literally just click here and right click automation and then just do like that. Boom, pretty easy. Not much effort. It works. This is a weird sort of stutter you could do, but even though it looks weird, it's really simple. It's literally just this. If you think about it, it's literally just that. Let me do it a little better. If you think about it, it's just doing. I can't even move it more tinier than that. There we go. If you think about it, it's just doing this, but it's not the same thing. But because you include this end, this is still pretty nice. But I feel like this is a lot better because it includes that little end part, and it continues in the inside of the other end part. And it's also really simple to make. Like literally just a little staircase. Optimizing your laziness is just making a little staircase. And this is another part where I used the random snare from FL. you always want to just utilize. If you can't find good samples, or if you're too lazy to open up your sample folders, just literally just like, ding. I mean, you could also put your sample folders here, but sometimes it's like kind of a struggle trying to find something. Of course, if you're organized, it's a lot easier for you. But for me, I'm not organized. I just go like this, ding. Pick a random one. That's how I just like sometimes provide some variety. This is a nice project to look at. I don't know why, but it's like nice, really long. And now for the final song, Piano Slicer. This is my first piano slicer break that I made, and it was nice. It was mental. It was great. If I could find it, that would be nice, but I really don't know where it is. This is the song file. There's this one, right? Oh no, this is something else. I can still show this one as well because this one's actually pretty cool. This is a ISOYS. I don't know how to say it. Is it? IOSYS. Tohu, I think. I don't know. Interesting break. Now, just like this is something I like to say. When you're making a song, you could honestly include whatever style of making breaks you want to include. As you could tell, this looks a lot like normal day king break, but then once you get over here, actually it all looks the same now I think about it. I mean, this portion looks a bit different, but here's when I slowly start to use piano roll breaks into my normal breaks. But you see that it's not everywhere, but it's still sort of like there. This is an alright part. But obviously, this is super easy to make if you literally just do that. Literally just like use one section or just do something random and just pitch change it. Super nice. This is the part. This is the end thing. Cool. Okay, let me try to find the other song that I'm gonna end this video. Goddamn. What is this thing? Dude. No, it's this song, okay. Q35. This is Quandale Dingle tries to make a breakcore experiment with Andy, please. Piano roll break right here. Not fully piano roll break, since you can see this is where I implemented the nice playlist and piano roll break crossover. Breakcore Now, when I first started making piano slicer breaks, I was honestly so fucking confused. But to start off, I felt like this was something really, really good to start off how to make piano roll breaks. Is literally just like get a random ass snare and just move it across the whole entire note thing. Yeah, I mean, S is literally just like moving the pitch and a snare really quickly, but it works. Another one. Sounds cool. And then I started doing that, but with actual breaks. That's a really simple break you can make, but the reason it sounds good is because of the kicks and this, the second portion of the other breaks, which nicely mixes it. You can check the full song on SoundCloud. I don't have the full song because Andy used a different version and I can't open it, so yeah. But his part was amazing. My part was alright. I liked it. Oh, look, here's I mean, this is like the other sections that I was talking about, the other songs. You see, this is the song I showed you earlier. And this is something weird I made. I mean, really failed that thing. So yeah, I don't really know if I taught much, but basically, just make breaks, not that hard. I don't know, maybe if you watch this whole thing, maybe you learn a thing or two by looking at my projects and how I make breaks. You can use it as an example if you want. It's not that much of a good example, but it still works in some way or another. Of course, if you like to see any of these projects or get any of these samples, just comment if you'd like. I could give links, I could give stuff to download. I'm not gonna really give download links to the sample packs I use because they're all public and they're super easy to find. It's really not much of a bother to find most of these sample packs I use because everyone uses it in the first place, and you can just literally search it up. So unless you want it something else that I make, I don't know, like this tack, nice kicks. I do have a bunch of kick packs that I found off, some websites that I won't say, but they're cool. I use a lot more kicks in my songs now because it just sounds nice. This is a pretty nice kick that I made. Kicks definitely add a lot to a breakcore song, so you definitely want to test that out. So yeah, that's it for King Master 1, how to make king break tutorial, or how to make breaks for breakcore. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a nice one.